And welcome back. I am Largo, and today we're going to be checking out another Kurzgesagt video because I love these things and I love learning new and random stuff. So today it's going to be about the Fermi Paradox. The Fermi Paradox postulates, are we the only life in the universe? Personally, on a personal level, I don't think we are. I do believe in aliens and alien life, not like, big-headed gray aliens and flying saucers or anything like that, but just life on other planets. Yes, I believe it exists. Space is far too vast for it to not exist out there somewhere. Is it intelligent? Don't know. Can it build fire or build spaceships or communicate via electronics? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Depends on where it is in its evolutionary chain. So let's go ahead and jump right into it and learn a little bit more about what this Fermi Paradox is.
Are we the only living things in the entire universe? The observable universe is about 90 billion light years in diameter.
That's big.
There are at least 100 billion galaxies, each with 100 to 1,000 billion stars.
And this is, in my opinion, still a conservative estimate because we legitimately have no clue how big the universe is. None. We're just guessing and doing mathematical equations to attempt to come to some kind of number that we can comprehend. But we honestly have no idea how big the universe is or how many stars are actually out there.
Recently, we've learned that planets are very common too. And there are probably trillions and trillions of habitable planets in the universe, which means there should be lots of opportunity for life to develop and exist, right? But where is it?
One would think.
Shouldn't the universe be teeming with spaceships? Let's take a step back. Even if there are alien civilizations in other galaxies, there's no way we'll ever know about them. Basically, everything outside of our direct galactic neighborhood, the so-called local group, is pretty much out of our reach forever because of the expansion of the universe. Even if we had really fast spaceships, it would literally take billions of years to reach these places, traveling through the emptiest areas in the universe. So let's focus on the Milky Way. The Milky Way is our home galaxy. It consists of up to 400 billion stars. That's a lot of stars. Counting one per second, it would take you 100 lifetimes to count them all. Woo. There are about 20 billion sun-like stars in the Milky Way, and estimates suggest that a fifth of them have an Earth-sized planet in its habitable zone, the area with conditions that enable life to exist.
That's a lot of planets.
If only 0.1% of those planets harbored life, there would be 1 million planets with life in the Milky Way.
That's what I'm talking about. Space is so big, and the possibility of having a planet around its star at just the right distance is actually very likely. Given the size of space, there's so many planets within habitable zones around their stars that, some of them have to contain life of some kind. So I just think that it's hugely egotistical to think that Earth is the only place in the entire universe that supports life. Now, if you want to bring that down a little bit and say that maybe Earth is the only planet in our solar system that supports life, yes, I agree. In our local cluster, maybe? Okay, possibly. In our galaxy, potentially, but I highly, highly doubt it. The more you pull back and the bigger of a scale you look at, the probability of a planet harboring biological life of some kind is, you're almost guaranteed to find it eventually. Now, space is huge and those civilizations may never cross paths, but okay.
But wait, there's more. The Milky Way is about 13 billion years old. In the beginning, it would not have been a good place for life because things exploded a lot. But after 1 to 2 billion years, the first habitable planets were born. Earth is only 4 billion years old, so there have probably been trillions of chances for life to develop on other planets in the past. If only a single one of them had developed into a space-traveling super-civilization, we would have noticed by now. What would such a civilization look like? There are 3 categories. A Type 1 civilization would be able to access the whole energy available on its planet. In case you're wondering, we're currently around 0.73 on the scale, and we should reach Type 1 sometime in the next couple of hundred years. Type 2 would be a civilization capable of harnessing all of the energy of its home star. This would require some serious science fiction, but it is doable in principle. Concepts like the Dyson sphere, a giant complex surrounding the sun, would be conceivable. Type 3 is a civilization that basically controls its whole galaxy and its energy. An alien race this advanced would probably be godlike to us. But why should we be able to see such an alien civilization in the first place? If we were to build generation spaceships that could sustain a population for around 1,000 years, we could colonize the whole galaxy in 2 million years. Sounds like a long time, but remember, the Milky Way is huge. So if it takes a couple of million years to colonize the entire galaxy, and there are possibly millions, if not billions, of planets that sustain life in the Milky Way, and these other life forms have had considerably more time than we've had, then where are all the aliens? This is the Fermi Paradox.
Where are all the aliens?
Nobody has an answer to it. But we do have some ideas. Let's talk about filters. A filter in this context represents a barrier that is really hard for life to overcome. They come in various degrees of scary. 1. There are great filters, and we have passed them. Maybe it is way harder for complex life to develop than we think. The process allowing life to begin hasn't yet been completely figured out, and the conditions required may be really complicated. Maybe in the past, the universe was way more hostile, and only recently have things cooled down to make complex life possible. This would also mean that we may be unique, or at least one of the first, if not the first, civilization in the entire universe.
It's a Brotherhood of Knob logo on there.
There are great filters, and they are ahead of us. This one would be really, really bad. Maybe life on our level exists everywhere in the universe, but it gets destroyed when it reaches a certain point, a point that lies ahead of us. For example, awesome future technology exists, but when activated, it destroys the planet. The last words of every advanced civilization would be, "This new device will solve all of our problems once I push this button." If this is true, then we are closer to the end than the beginning of human existence.
Yeah, and that also implies that, again, they said it, there's different types of filters. It seems to be that there's natural filters, like, is your planet even capable of sustaining life? Does it have the proper atmosphere? Does it have the proper minerals? Does it have liquid water? I know not all, in theory at least, not all aliens need liquid water. You could have something that isn't carbon-based, maybe like a silicon-based life form. So there's natural filters, is your planet in a habitable zone? Does it have the right requirements to make life? But then there also seems to be non-natural, non-physical barriers, like they're saying here, like with war or some kind of scientific mishap. Maybe a civilization creates a black hole, turns it on, and destroys their entire civilization. So it seems like, yeah, there's these natural barriers, these natural filters, but there's also these unnatural filters that seems like these life forms would have to initiate their own destruction. So that's pretty interesting.
Distance. Or maybe there is an ancient Type 3 civilization that monitors the universe, and once a civilization is advanced enough, it gets eliminated in an instant. Maybe there is something out there that it would be better not to discover. There is no way for us to know. One final thought, maybe we're alone. Right now, we have no evidence that there's any life besides us. Nothing. The universe appears to be empty and dead. No one sending us messages, no one answering our calls. We may be completely alone, trapped on a tiny moist mud ball in an eternal universe. Does that thought scare you? If it does,
it's an interesting
you're having the correct emotional reaction. If we let life on this planet die, perhaps there will be no life left in the universe. Life will be gone, maybe forever. If this is the case, we just have to venture to the stars and become the first Type 3 civilization to keep the delicate flame of life existing and to spread it until the universe breathes its final breath and vanishes into oblivion. The universe is too beautiful not to be experienced by someone.
That's an interesting little blurb there. The universe is too beautiful not to be experienced by someone. It really brings to mind, I want to say that it's a quote from Carl Sagan, where he says that we are a way for the universe to know itself, because we are all made of stardust. We are all made of the things that stars are. Our very atoms, the things that we are composed of, were forged in the heart of stars at some point. And I do think that's beautiful. And to a certain extent, yeah, I do kind of believe that we are, in fact, a way for the universe to experience itself, that the universe creates life and consciousness as a way to know itself, to explore itself. It's kind of interesting. All right, there's 2 parts to the Fermi Paradox video, so we're just going to go ahead and do both at the same time, jump right into the second one. Let's go.
There are probably 10,000 stars for every grain of sand on Earth in the observable universe. We know that there might be trillions of planets, so where are all the aliens? Right. This is the Fermi Paradox. If you want to know more about it, watch part 1. Here, we look at possible solutions to the Fermi Paradox.
Okay.
So, will we be destroyed, or does a glorious future await us? Space travel is hard. Although possible, it's an enormous challenge to travel to other stars. Massive amounts of material have to be put into orbit and assembled. A journey of maybe thousands of years needs to be survived by a population big enough to start from scratch. And the planet might not be as hospitable as it seemed from afar. It was already extremely hard to set up a spaceship that could survive the trip. An interstellar invasion might be impossible to pull off. Also, consider time. The universe is very old. On Earth, there's been life for at least 3.6 billion years. Intelligent human life for about 250,000 years, but only for about a century have we had the technology to communicate over great distances. There might have been grand alien empires that stretched across thousands of systems and existed for millions of years, and we might just have missed them. There might be grandiose ruins rotting away on distant worlds. 99% of all species on Earth have died out. It's easy to argue that this will be our fate sooner or later. Intelligent life may develop, spread over a few systems, and die off, over and over again. But galactic civilizations might never meet, so maybe it's a unifying experience for life in the universe to look at the stars and wonder, where is everyone? But there is no reason to assume aliens are like us, or that our logic applies to them.
Yeah.
It might just be that our means of communication are extremely primitive and outdated. Imagine sitting in a house with a Morse code transmitter. You'd keep sending messages, but nobody would answer, and you'd feel pretty lonely. Maybe we're still undetectable for intelligent species, and will remain so until we learn to communicate properly. And even if we met aliens, we might be too different to be able to communicate with them in a meaningful way. Imagine the smartest squirrel you can. No matter how hard you try, you won't be able to explain our society to it. After all, from the squirrel's perspective, a tree is all that a sophisticated intelligence like itself needs to survive. So, humans cutting down whole forests is madness. But we don't destroy forests because we hate squirrels, we just want the resources. The squirrel's wishes and the squirrel's survival are of no concern to us. A Type 3 civilization in need of resources may treat us in a similar way. They might just evaporate our oceans to make collecting whatever they need easier. One of the aliens might think for a second, oh.
Man, I am seeing so many alien references of all kinds. I mean, I've seen... Man, they're just dropping all kinds of stuff in here. Last video, they had Galactic, right? I'm pretty sure I saw a Dalek, a TARDIS from Doctor Who. I'm pretty sure I saw a Gallifreyan City from Doctor Who. At least 2 or 3 different Pokemon have been dropped in here. I want to say that I've seen at least 2 logos from Command and Conquer. Last episode, they had the Brotherhood of Nod logo in the video, and this episode, they had the Skrin logo in the video. They're just sprinkling all these tiny little Easter eggs throughout this video.
Tiny little apes, they build really cute concrete structures. Oh well, now they're dead, before activating warp speed. But if there is a civilization out there that wants to eliminate other species, it's far more likely that it will be motivated by culture rather than by economics. And anyway, it would be more effective to automate the process by constructing the perfect weapon. A self-replicating space probe made from nanomachines. They operate on a molecular level incredibly fast and deadly, with the power to attack and dismantle anything in an instant.
Gray goo. Gray goo is an interesting theory. The gray goo theory is the theory that it's an end of the world scenario. And this has been posited as a real-life, plausible end of the world scenario, which is where nanomachines are created, and those nanomachines are designed to disassemble matter at the molecular level to pull apart the bonds of molecules and reassemble them into different things, primarily more nanomachines, which are also programmed to do the same thing. This would mean that you would have a self-replicating grayish goo that when comes into contact with anything, and I mean anything, biological material, non-biological material, minerals, water, dirt, anything, animals, whatever. It all gets disassembled and reassembled into more nanomachines designed to, of course, disassemble and reassemble into more nanomachines. This process continues on and on until everything on Earth has been processed and turned into nanomachines, leaving the entire planet as a giant floating ball of gray goo in space. Interesting end of the world scenario. But anyways, let's keep moving.
You only need to give them 4 instructions. 1. Find a planet with life. 2. Disassemble everything on this planet into its component parts. 3. Use the resources to build new space probes. 4. Repeat. A doomsday machine like this could render a galaxy sterile in a few million years. But why would you fly light years to gather resources or commit genocide? The speed of light is actually not very fast. If someone could travel at the speed of light, it would still take 100,000 years to cross the Milky Way once, and you'll probably travel way slower. There might be way more enjoyable things than destroying civilizations and building empires.
Tron
An
reference?
interesting concept is the Matryoshka brain, a megastructure surrounding a star. A computer of such computing power that an entire species could upload their consciousness and exist in a simulated universe. Potentially, one could experience an eternity of pure ecstasies without ever being bored or sad. A perfect life. If built around a red dwarf, this computer could be powered for up to 10 trillion years. Who would want to conquer the galaxy or make contact with other life forms if this were an option? All these solutions to the Fermi Paradox have one problem. We don't know where the borders of technology are. We could be close to the limit or nowhere near it, and super technology awaits us, granting us immortality, transporting us to other galaxies, elevating us to the level of gods. One thing we do have to acknowledge is that we really don't know anything. Humans have spent more than 90% of their existence as hunter-gatherers. 500 years ago, we thought we were the center of the universe. 200 years ago, we stopped using human labor as the main source of energy. 30 years ago, we had apocalyptic weapons pointed at each other because of political disagreements. In the galactic timescale, we are embryos. We've come far, but still have a long way to go.
Long way.
The mindset that we really are the center of the universe is still strong in humans, so it's easy to make arrogant assumptions about life in the universe. But in the end, there's only one way to find out, right?
All right, well, that was Kurzgesagt on the Fermi Paradox, parts 1 and 2. Very interesting, man. There's so much that you could talk about on something like this. So many different reasons as to why or why not people think that there are or are not alien life out there. Like I said at the top of the video, personally, I absolutely 100% believe that there is life on other planets, just on a mathematical basis. There's so many stars out there that have planetoids around them at just the right spot. And I know there's a lot more that goes into it than just that, but space is so inconceivably large. There's so many stars out there. It's basically uncountable. And every single one of those is an opportunity for life to exist. So just on a mathematical basis, you would have to believe, at least somewhere out there, at some point in time, there is, in fact, was or is going to be life on other planets. Like, again, maybe it's not big-headed gray aliens and flying saucers or anything like we've imagined before on science fiction or TV or anything like that. But it's out there. It's out there. It gets really exciting and really thought-provoking if you are talking about intelligent life. Life able to make technology and build spacefaring crafts and travel and terraform. That's where you get really, really cool sci-fi ideas. But what do you guys think? Do you think there's life out there? Is the universe too big to not have life in it? Or do you think that we're the only ones out there? Are we the only intelligent, sentient, spacecraft building life in the universe right now? Let me know in the comments. And one question I do have for you guys is, what is your favorite sci-fi space-faring alien civilization? That's a lot of stuff. It can cover anything. Movies, television, comic books, video games, books, anything you want. Let me know down in the comments, what is your favorite spacefaring alien species and why? And as always, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and click that like button. As always, consider clicking that subscribe button to help the channel out, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what other videos you want to see in the future. Maybe some more Kurzgesagt videos. Maybe you know some more videos that are educational and fun at the same time. Or maybe you just got a video for a source filmmaker, animation, or a video game trailer or something like that. Leave it down in the comments. As always, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Thanks for watching the video. Take care of yourselves and have a great day.